So in our last video, we talked a little bit about how collecting Pokemon cards right now is getting absolutely crazy, but I specifically was focusing on English cards. I actually wanted to go ahead and follow up to this video, the collecting Pokemon cards is getting dangerous now video. We basically, if you missed that video, most people did. We just focused on how there has been a lot of violence actually when it comes to scalpers basically fighting over restocks, Pokemon card restocks in places like Costco, Target, things like that. But English cards are not the only ones that are just going absolutely crazy right now. Japanese Pokemon cards are on the rise and it's getting absolutely insane. And that's kind of crazy because over the last few months, honestly, like year plus, Pokemon cards, specifically Japanese cards, have been like the budget thing to go towards if you couldn't either find English product or if it was just too expensive. Traditionally, Japanese booster boxes have ranged, like on places like TikTok Shop, for example, they've ranged in the $35 to $45 range. If you're buying outside of that, it's usually around $50, $60, things like that. Some of the newest sets and even some of these older sets are climbing well above $100 now. To just give you an example, here is Pokemon 151, the Japanese booster box on TCG Player, specifically with the Japanese section. And as you can see, the market price is at $131 right now. Specifically with this set, Pokemon 151, it has climbed in price literally in just the last couple of days. Like if you would have looked like 3-4 days ago, the price was at around like 115, 120. If you looked a few days before then, it was like at 105, 110. This thing is very quickly approaching $150 every 3 or 4 days. It's like another 10, another 15, another 10. And it's absolutely crazy. I mean, if we look at the actual like historic price, it wasn't that much, you know, just a few months ago. In November, at least, it was $95. It has climbed basically $40 since then. If you look at the 6-month range, right? It dropped even below that. It shows $88 here. If you were to get it on places like TikTok Shop, for example, around October, like in this, date range, they were dropping to as low as like $65. And now they're basically double the price. And again, they're not stopping either. They're continuing to climb, and Pokemon 151 is not the only one that's doing this. Here's a quick look at Pokemon Battle Partners, the Japanese booster box. This is the newest set. Technically, there is pre-orders for another new set now, but this is the newest one that you can actually buy. It is going to be based off of course, Journey Together, which is the English version. This booster box right now is sitting at $86 in the market price. This is one of those booster boxes that it felt like these types, right? Not the special, like 151, for example, or Shiny Treasures EX or things like that. This is just kind of like a normal set. And usually these normal sets have debuted on places, again, like TikTok Shop, around $40, $45, maybe even $50. That's not the case with Battle Partners. Battle Partners has been sitting in the $80 range for a while now. You can see in January, pre-orders and those initial first few days of it being released, it was at $115. It has dropped, of course. It went down to 85 or so, but it is back up to 86, 87-ish. But yeah, this is a set that hasn't really dropped below that $80 mark. And I feel like if this would have released just, a few months ago when these prices weren't getting so crazy, it would have been a $45 box, $50 box, similar to sets like Crimson Haze, similar to, Stellar Miracle and things like that. These sets all came out and you could easily find them for like 40, $45. And now any new set that comes out, it's ridiculously overpriced. Here's just another quick example. This is the Japanese Prismatic Evolutions. Of course, this is one of the most popular sets right now in English, and the Japanese version is also incredibly popular. And as you can see, the price is sitting at $101 for this this booster box. I think the retail pricing is $37 US. I think the actual market price after it initially came out before this huge boom was somewhere around like 50-ish. As you can see, now it's basically climbed to over $100. If you want to get these 10 packs, it's basically $10 per pack, which is absolutely crazy for a Japanese set. We're used to, $2 a pack, $3 a pack, even for some of the more expensive sets and stuff like that. This is $10 a pack. This is like English 151 prices. And how I mentioned earlier too, the newest set, this is Hot Air Arena. This is another booster box, just a normal booster box, not a special set or anything like that. Pre-orders right now are all sitting at around $100+. We have 125, we have 120, 105, 120, 160. The booster packs themselves are selling, or pre-order selling, for $4 per pack. Each booster box comes with 30 packs. You do the math, that's $120. So basically, like every set now is just so overhyped, and the FOMO has kicked in with this community, even with Japanese cards now, to the point where now Japanese resellers are selling at these crazy prices. Again, just a few months ago, right? 6 months ago, 4 months ago, even, these kinds of booster boxes, these new booster boxes for these newest sets were able to be found for so cheap. In fact, it was kind of like financially responsible if you're in this hobby to go with Japanese booster boxes instead, because they came with more packs and they usually cost cheaper than English counterparts. Now with all these new prices, this is basically just buying like English booster boxes essentially, right? $125. What are English booster boxes retail? Like 130 or something like that. And it just sucks because again, this was like a really easy, cheap way to be able to actually rip open cards, collect really cool, ARs and stuff for really, really cheap, right? Going with Japanese instead of English. And now it feels like that's not the case anymore. Like it's not just one set either. We just looked at four of the, or three of the newest sets, one of the more popular sets from the last couple of years. And all of these are rising in price, and these are not the only sets either. I just didn't want to go ahead and use 1,000 examples, but V-Star Universe is climbing like crazy. Just a few months ago, you were able to get booster boxes for 55 to 60 bucks. Now they're over 100. And all these older sets basically are starting to rise in price too. Right now, it feels like there's very few Japanese sets that are actually like sticking to that 40 to 50-ish range per booster box. You have like Mask of Change, you have like Crimson Haze, Stellar Miracle, right? But I wouldn't even be surprised if these ones start to climb. For example, Paradise Dragona, that's like half of Surging Sparks, that's half of that set. I wouldn't be surprised if those booster boxes very, very soon climb in price. Right now, you can still get them for like 45 to 55 bucks, but I wouldn't be surprised if they start to do, a battle partners where they're now like 85 bucks per booster box and stuff. At these prices currently, I don't really recommend buying these booster boxes. I mean, for me personally, knowing that like just a couple months ago, I could have got, something like Pokemon 151 for like 90 bucks or so, and now it's like at 130 and all that. It's just kind of hard for me to justify spending the current market prices on some of these booster boxes that were a little bit more affordable just a few months ago. So I wouldn't recommend buying at these prices. What I would actually recommend doing instead is just buying the singles that you actually like. I know this is like very common advice that is given to pretty much, every like in these type of videos, like it's given in every one of these type of videos and stuff. But realistically, it's just becoming more and more apparent that like if you just want to be able to collect certain cards about certain Pokemon, just buy the singles, because at these prices, like you buy 2 booster boxes and you're in the hole for like 300 bucks already. Other than just buying singles that you actually want to, another thing that I would recommend is actually considering getting Korean booster boxes instead. There are some drawbacks. I'll mention them in just a second, but as you guys can see, like the booster boxes in Korean are significantly cheaper than English or Japanese counterparts. 62 bucks for a Korean booster box. This person has them for $40, 75, 69, 55 plus $4 shipping, compared to the Japanese one where it's $131. Comparing it to like the English version too, for example, just the 151 ETB. This is not even the Pokemon Center stamped ETB or anything like that. This is just the normal ETB, and it's sitting at $191 for now. This has like what, 8-9 packs in it versus the Korean one that has like 30 or something, 20, 30. So if you're just looking to be able to rip certain sets and you don't want to go ahead and buy singles, or you want to do a mixture of the two things, definitely look into Korean booster boxes instead. Traditionally, they are significantly cheaper. Korean EV Heroes is another one, for example, 120 bucks per booster box. This person has them for 75, I guess. This in Japanese is like 400 per booster box. If you were getting English, it's like 800, 900 or something like that. And those are just the really popular sets, but the Korean versions. If you're looking for like some normal sets, for example, like I mentioned earlier, Crimson Haze, you can get them for as low as like $27, $28. The downsides to these Korean booster boxes though is, unlike Japanese ones, they're not guaranteed hits inside, each booster box. Like in Japanese ones, what is it, like at least 2 ARs and at least 1 secret rare or something like that. These Korean booster boxes do not have those guarantees, so it's possible that you open an entire booster box and you don't really get a hit. And then at the same time too, they just don't have the level of quality that those Japanese cards have. So there are some downsides, but again, if you're just looking to be able to find something for affordable prices and being able to just rip packs and stuff like that, definitely consider Korean, because right now these prices, man, with Japanese and with English, they're just absolutely crazy, and I just don't recommend buying in the current market. Crazy time. It's crazy time to be collecting Pokemon cards right now. It was already super expensive, and now it's just getting completely unaffordable for like the average person or whatever. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below. Really appreciate it. Buy singles, buy Korean booster boxes instead. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. With all that being said though, guys, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.